Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, today's topic is, what is space? Well, space can be a number of things. It could be a hole in a cave, okay, like this big, huge space. It could be your closet, okay, under your bed. Anything could be space, right? But not this space. This space is actually up there, right above our heads. Yes, I'm talking about the night sky. Or is it day? I'm going to let you on a hint. Well, not really a hint, but more of a secret. Okay? We all know light makes color. Okay? Our sun, when it hits Earth, okay, when the light bounces off Earth, it's going to create color. Alright? So is the sky really blue? No, it's not. It's black. The sun makes it look blue, which therefore makes it look like it's daytime, when technically the sky is still black. Okay? The Earth, yes, I know the Earth is blue, but has green also only because of the land. And the Earth appears blue because of the ocean. So when that light bounces off the water, it'll bounce back up, creating a blue-like effect. Okay, so water acts like a prism, all right? Just think of a prism. So, I don't know if you got a light and a prism with you, but if you shine the light on the prism, you're going to get color. You're going to see rainbows all over your room, right? Well, it's kind of like Earth, where the light from the sun bounces up. Okay, so light travels faster than you think. Okay, that's pretty much how I can explain that to you. Now, space itself, there is no end, there is no start, okay? Space is just that. No beginning, no middle, no end, no nothing. It's just this big black void, right? Yeah, sure, we see planets and stars and asteroids and comets and all those strange objects up in the sky. All right? Nobody actually has the correct answer for all these questions that people are shooting out at NASA. All right? Even NASA doesn't have answers. They can only answer to the best that they can. All right, to their knowledge. Okay, because we all don't have the answers to all our burning questions. Okay, now I have this one particular burning question that I keep asking myself. All right, how are the planets staying up in this big black void called space? How are we not drifting? How are we not falling? How are we just sitting right there in position, constant position, rotating around the sun every day, every year, every month? All right? How? Just how? Okay? Our moon, while our moon may be drifting away from Earth, but it's very gradual. All right? So you don't notice it as much, that Earth that the moon is drifting away from Earth. Slowly. But it's true. It is. Another burning question that you guys probably have, that I know I probably have as well, is how is the Big Bang made? Well, for the Big Bang to start, right, I'm sure you all know about gases and atoms and gravity and all that stuff, right? And microorganisms. Okay, we come from microorganisms. Planets come from rocks, basically. Where did these rocks come from? I don't know. Where did the stars come from? I don't know. Stars were created from matter, right? But where did the matter come from? How did it create the Big Bang? Well, there's got to be something that created the Big Bang to fill this big black void, right? This is where religion meets science. However, did Earth actually exist long before other planets and galaxies existed? We don't know. We don't know how old Earth is. Okay? We don't know if it's been around longer than other planets. All right? We don't have the answer to any of this stuff. We're still trying to investigate. NASA's still out there trying to get answers. How all this mess began, right? So every time I look out my window, I always get questions coming into my mind. But even I can't answer them. I don't have the answers. I read books. Like, I try to find answers in books. Do you think the books are going to give me the accurate answer? No, because nobody has the real answer to how all this began. All right? So religion does actually come into science. Okay? They do meet somewhere in the middle, down the line there. All right? Because there has to be a start and an ending. But without the start and the ending, you have to have the middle, right? So if we're going on more of a religious base, that some scientists believe, okay, the start would be a spiritual entity, right? A phenomenal, something paranormal, something that's out of the ordinary, would have created the Big Bang to fill this big black void, right? Correct. But how does God himself appear? Because we all know he's invisible. We can't see him, right? True fact, we cannot see him at all. So how can something invisible create all this out of microorganisms and atoms and gases and everything that we know of today? All right? How do we get trees and grass, like all this beautiful greenery that we see on this planet? How do we get all that? Could that be Mother Nature? Could God be Mother Nature? However, in the Bible, it states that God is a spiritual entity. So it can be anything. Okay? It can be anything he wants. Having said that, yes, we got Jesus. Okay? He's supposed to be Jesus's father. But the Bible says that Joseph is Jesus's father. So there is actually a confusing part in the Bible, okay? Especially when you're trying to fit the puzzle in with science when it comes to space. All right? Yeah, sure. Jesus came to Earth, right? But how can he come to Earth when Earth wasn't here? Let me tell you. When God created the Big Bang, Earth stood here first. Right? Then along came Adam and Eve. But how did Adam and Eve came about? Good question. That's another piece of the missing puzzle that scientists haven't worked out, because how on earth can humans live with dinosaurs? There's the evolution part, right? Well, just like space, humans have to start from somewhere, right? So we all come from microorganisms, right? And to top it off, we would have then grown into Neanderthals. And then after Neanderthal, sure, we were shrunk down in size, lost our fur and everything, and turned ourselves into cavemen. But then, after cavemen, we turn into this. All right? So while scientists say that we come from walking fish, yeah, no, we don't, okay? But the scaly skin, like I said, no answer to that, all right? Some people say that we come from fish, hence the scaly skin on our body. But Neanderthals had skin too. It was just covered in layers and layers of fur. And we lost that as soon as we turned into cavemen. Which is going way, way back in the prehistoric times when dinosaurs were around. So yes, it is possible us humans were around when dinosaurs were around. All right? And you guys say that you've seen Bigfoot. Well, guess what? Newsflash. Bigfoot is a Neanderthal. Okay? Scientists are trying to prove that it's a Neanderthal. They're trying to prove that it's supposed to be one of our ancestors that haven't even evolved into human yet. All right? But their existence is unknown. Okay, some people have said that they've seen them. Some people said that they never have. So it is a huge conspiracy right there. All right. Now, as I was saying with space, okay, the Big Bang itself, okay, the stars would have been created first, right? Now, these stars had created galaxies. These little galaxies have planets in them. Scientists have proven that there are more than one Earth-like planets floating right above our heads. Yes, that is true. If you all heard of Kepler 19 something, I'm just going to call it the green planet. Because there are a lot of numbers with Kepler. So I'm just going to call it the green planet. Apparently, it's what's supposed to be a parallel world. An Earth-like planet, which is just a tiny bit bigger than Earth. But that's the closest proximity to Earth would be 1,000, 2,000 billion light years away. Maybe further. But it's still close enough to us. Apparently. So once the galaxies were created, okay, out comes these big asteroids. Where did the asteroids come from? Once again, I don't have the answer for that. All right. Nobody knows the answers to pretty much anything, okay? Nobody. Planets, okay? Like the whole entire solar system is just basically your sun. Okay, Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Pluto, Neptune. And you got the moon. You got Uranus. And there's one other planet in our solar system, a new one. And apparently there is another planet that they have found called Planet X. I don't know why they called it Planet X, but unfortunately, news reports have died down about Planet X because, they've not found any proof that Planet X actually exists. And because apparently it's supposed to sit directly behind the sun to make it look like there's two suns in the sky. And there's no proof of that. So that's why they stopped talking about Planet X. So Earth is a sphere, okay? It's a gigantic ball. All right? It's a gigantic exercise ball. It's not a perfect sphere. Why? Because of the mountains, the volcanoes, the trees, everything. All right? The hills makes the Earth look bumpy. All right? So it's not a perfect sphere. I suppose you could say an oblong, but that's more of something with that looks like a hexagon, and like a misshapen hexagon to me. But it is a sphere. There's proof of that, all right? So volcanoes. Volcanoes are a tricky one, all right? Because Earth itself has this big ball of magma deep down in the center, right? But inside the magma ball, there's plasma, or at least they said there was plasma. So the Earth is like layered with all these different cores, all right? And the volcanic tubes go right down. So when the volcanoes ready to erupt, the lava will actually drift up, right? The volcano will start steaming and start spitting out hot lava. But then out comes the eruption a few minutes later, killing thousands of people, intoxicating people, right? That's why they tell everyone to evacuate the town, All right, because the ash will get into your lungs. It'll make it difficult to breathe. And the lava is so hot it can start fires. All right, and yes, it will kill you. There are plenty of people who have died. I mean, take Pompeii for existence, right? People have died during Pompeii volcanic eruption. True fact. All right. Pompeii was destroyed many years ago. Many, many, many years ago. Well before your time. All right? Well and truly before your time. But that does not answer my question about what is space. That does not answer my question about how do we come here. It does not answer my question as to why Earth is the way it is and its behavioral pattern. All right? Space is definitely a tricky one. All right? Talking about Earth is a tricky one. All right? Do we feel the gravitational pull from the moon? No, we don't. Okay? Earth is spinning so fast that we spin with the Earth. Right? So we can't feel the Earth spin. We cannot feel the gravitational pull. Yes, we do have gravity, but there is actually a spot on this planet where there is zero gravity. True fact. I don't know the name of the place, but I have seen videos of it. You may have heard of it. You may have seen videos of it. People go off to the side of the road and they'll throw things in and it'll just float. All right? Things will float. And the water rises up. So instead of falling down, it rises up. So it goes upwards. So there is actually a spot on this planet that actually has zero gravity. But you guys may have heard of it or may not have. But I know I have because I've seen videos of it. I don't remember the exact location of this place. So, all right. Now, as for the moon, well, the moon has the gravitational pull and is in control of our tidal waves. But every astronaut that goes up to the moon floats, like bounces, okay? So yes, you can still walk on the moon. Yes, you can still touch the moon on your feet and not fly off into deep space, all right? However, when you walk on the moon, you'd be bouncing. That's because the gravity on the moon is less than the gravity that's on Earth. That's my answer to that question. If you don't believe me, fine. I don't care. That's your opinion. All right? But I'm only telling you what's true. All right? So that concludes that space is nothing but just a big black nothing. It's nothing. It's a void. No start, no middle, no end. Big Bang meets religion and science, okay? Because we all know God has a part in it. We all know he is a spiritual entity who can actually be anything, anybody. All right? He could be you, he could be me, could be your cat, dog, your horse, could be anything. He's a spiritual entity, and he's always watching over you. All right? If you're not religious, then this video is not for you. If you are a flat earther, this video is definitely 100% not for you. I don't want flat earthers on my video. All right? The reason why I say this because flat earthers are uneducated people who failed science miserably, okay? They end up with a nice big fat juicy F on their science report. Okay? We all know they are not smart. I mean, hello. Everybody knows that Earth is like this giant exercise ball. Okay, just think of an exercise ball. It is round, it is massive, all right? So that is 100% true. It is huge. Not a perfect sphere. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it is round, all right? And the only way you're going to get Earth to look perfect is if, well, you Photoshop, right? But I wouldn't Photoshop. Why? Because I want to see what Earth really looks like, and I have. It's called going up into an airplane. So when you are up in an airplane looking down, you can see a curve, right? There is a curve. So, and I know it's not perfect. Once again, you can see it when you're up in a plane, that this curve that goes around is not a perfect circle. Okay? And you can see that it's not perfect because also when you're looking down through this curve, through the atmosphere, you can see all these hills, mountains, trees, volcanoes. Okay, they're everywhere. That's how I know it's not perfect. All right? Okay, yes, the horizon may look flat. Okay, it's like this flat line. However, this is where you guys get confused. All right? Because let me point this out to you. When you're up there and you look down, you will see a curve, okay? A nice big curve. That's because Earth is round. It's a sphere. Just like all the other planets. All right? They look like big bouncy balls. Don't mind me. That's just the best way to describe a planet, okay? Now, who are we? Are we alien? We could be. If you live on a planet, you're an alien, right? True fact. So aliens that live on another planet, say Jupiter, for existence, all right? I'm going to pick on Jupiter. So if an alien came down from Jupiter to Earth, we are going to be aliens to them. And they are going to be aliens to us. Okay? True fact. Although yeah. But aliens can be questionable too, so because apparently they can take on many shapes and forms. I don't know how that works, but you know. And apparently UFOs can actually come up out of the ocean. Apparently. I've not seen an alien come up out of the ocean, but I always thought they were always up in the sky. Floating above us. So, yep. So technically, there you have it. I don't have the answer to this big black void. Nobody does, okay? So that's the lesson today for this video. That nobody has the answer to any of our questions. Nobody, all right? But that question's always going to be right up here in my head. What is space? What is it made of? How did the Big Bang come from? Like, where did it come from? How did it start? All right? They're always going to be in my head. Nobody's going to know the answer. Nobody. Not until they do more research and then things will start coming together and pieces of the puzzle will come together nicely. Okay? So just think of it as a puzzle. Our universe as one big puzzle. All right? Everyone is trying to fit the pieces together to get the answer or the image that they want to get. All right? So, yes, space is one big puzzle. All right? Are we real? Of course we're real. Okay? We can feel, okay? We can hear, we can talk, we can see. Okay, we can feel ourselves pinching our skin. Okay, we can eat, we can drink, we can sleep, we can walk, can go to the bathroom. Okay, we can feel water, we can feel the cold and the heat, and we can feel nature. All right, we can feel everything. So yes, there's your answer. We are 100% real human beings. Is there a double ganger? Well, yes and no. It depends on how you interpret that. All right. A double ganger could be a spiritual entity, once again. All right. A double ganger could be someone who looks like you but lives in a different country. But yet they have a different name. The hair color might be different to yours, all right? Because theirs could be dyed or natural, while yours could be dyed or natural, all right? Their clothing is similar, okay? The personality is similar, all right? So if you don't have a job, they might have a job. If they don't, then you will, all right? So your doppelganger will be out there somewhere. You just need to look there. There was actually a website that you can actually go to actually find your doppelganger. Like where you can actually meet the person that looks like you. Which is kind of scary. I don't remember the name of this website, but apparently the website's out there, all right, where you can meet them and everything. So yeah, speaking of parallel universes, what about shadow people? I've seen my fair of shadow people. Okay, I've seen my share of seeing them. Right, I mean, last year I saw a shadow person. This was like well before for Christmas time. It was like late November, I think it was. Mum and I were seeing it in the living room. And we're just like having some snacks. And we're just talking. And all of a sudden there was this black figure up along the wall. And Mum's like, is there anybody outside? So I look behind me. There was nobody outside whatsoever. And when I turned around, that shadow figure was still there. And then it disappeared. So, yes, I've had my share of seeing shadow people. Not many do show themselves. Some will. Okay, some shadow figures will show themselves if they want to make you aware of them, that they are around, and that they are there to observe, and that they are not there to hurt anybody. Okay, because they come from a doorway, basically, a portal, as you guys would say, a portal from the parallel universe. Okay, so when a parallel universe is trying to communicate, they will actually open up a portal. We don't see that portal because why? It's invisible. Okay, however, NASA has been trying to communicate with another world, another galaxy. So yes, there may, just may be a parallel world out there, okay? So I could be older. I could be younger. I could already be dead. Okay? I could have a job, or I could already be married. All right? It really all depends. Would I like to go to this parallel universe if it does exist? No. Why? Because I would literally be scared. All right? I'll be like, I want to get the hell out of here. Pardon my language. So, and then, of course, comes time travel. What do we all think about time travel? Does time travel really exist? Yes, it does. There's a twist to time travel. Now here it comes, the wibbly wobbly timey wimey, the Doctor Who reference. All right, so we got time travel. Who wants to go to another country? I do. All right, so the easiest country I'm going to pick on for time travel is America. Giggles. So you're in Australia, right? But you're going over to America. So if you're going at night, it'll probably be daytime over there, all right? Like probably evening. Just say, roughly around that time. So technically speaking, you're going to relive that day all over again. So while Australia has gone forward in time, right, and America's gone forward in time, but this is the confusing part. The moment you travel, you're actually gone back in time. Still the same year, but you've gone back in time. So today in Australia, today is the 14th of the 6th, 2025. Rewind, go back to yesterday. We are now in America. It is the 13th of the 6th, 2025. So tomorrow is the 15th, which therefore will make it the 14th over there. True fact. So yes, there we go. Perfect example of time travel. Perfect example. Oh, wow. I'm glad I got that off my chest. I've been wanting to share time travel for like with you guys for a while now. But I'm so glad I'm now doing this because, my space content. So now I get to actually share that time travel information. But does time travel actually answer my question to space? No, it answers my question to time. All right? So, however, don't get me wrong, time and space go together. All right? We need space and we need time. Get it? No, do you get it? Space, time. When people need to call off, they want their own space and their own time. Get it? Yeah. Space joke. I crack myself up. Okay, sure. That might have sounded a bit confusing to you guys, but I got it. I understood the joke. Hey, laugh, people. It was a joke. Jeez. I did say I was going to make some more comedy, and I did say I was going to try and make my videos funny. Jeez. Hey. Can I have a little bit of fun when I talk about space and time? Because that's actually going to be the name of my video. Once, yeah. I pretty much just said the name of my video. Space and time. So, well, even though I said the name of the video, I'm still going to have to write the name of the video when... Anyway, just like I do with all my other videos. Can't believe I said the name of my own video, Space and Time. Wow. So no, then it's not called the Big Black Void or what is space. This video is called Space and Time. Obviously, because I've just combined space and time together. Speaking of time, we've moved up in the timeline, right? 2025. Okay, 2000 BC or whatever. Okay, we all know dinosaurs were around. They got wiped out by asteroids. Yeah, I'd like to believe they were wiped out by asteroids, but ever considered earthquakes? And did you know not all dinosaurs were actually wiped out? There are still dinosaurs roaming this very planet today. No joke. Okay, one, we have the mythical, the most famous dinosaur over in Scotland, known as the Loch Ness Monster. We have the alligator. We have the crocodile. We have a shark. That includes all sharks. We have frill-necked lizards, blue-tongued lizards, goannas, geckos, birds. That includes all birds. Because where do birds come from? Pterodactyls. Okay? Horses. Horses were dinosaurs, apparently. I'm not joking. They were. Then, of course, we have the hippo. We got the rhino or rhinoceros, which are located over in Africa. Okay. We did have another dinosaur called the dodo bird, but they're extinct. They're long gone. Now, of course, we've got the flamingos. All right. But when I say birds, I meant I'll cover all birds as dinosaurs back in those prehistoric times. All right. All right. And then we got our famous bugs like spiders, beetles, cockroaches, flies, you name it. Okay, they were all big at some point and they all shrunk in size. Okay, so everything has evolved, all right? Over time, everything has evolved. We evolved, all right? We used to be this gigantic Neanderthals. We shrunk and lost a lot of fur, became all skin and bone, and became cavemen, basically. And now we look like this. All right, so I don't think I can actually say much more about time and space. I think I just covered everything with time travel. Oh, wait. Yes. I forgot. Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve was part of the timeline. And, cavemen. I believe they were actually cavemen. So Eve was actually created from Adam's ribs, obviously. So they would have been brother and sister or father and daughter. It depends on how you want to picture that. It's really your choice to picture it. Yep. So, technically speaking, yeah, prehistoric creatures were actually the very first living beings to actually be on Earth before humans. How about that, huh? Interesting stuff there. Oh man, I got a dry throat. Excuse me while I do this. I got a dry throat. Alright, now I'm back. All that talking's made my throat dry. So, it is 4:19 here in Australia. It'll be like almost 5, I'm going to say. Because by the time I end this video, time will change drastically. So, yep. So while it's evening here, turning into nighttime, it's morning over in the US and morning over in the UK. Or it could be... No, wait, it'll be early morning in the US. So they'll be just starting to wake up. Well, those who actually go off to work early hours in the morning over there would be starting to wake up. While those who don't work would be actually sleeping in. Lucky them. As for me, I do both because I can see YouTube to be a job to me. Kind of. Well, at the moment, it's my job because it's my job to entertain you guys. So, there we go. Entertainment. Entertainment's a job. It's my job to make you guys entertained. So, what else can I say about time? Apart from the planets rotating around the sun 24/7 a day. No, technically there's not really much else I can talk about with time. Oh, here we go. What happens if time slows down? Well, if time slows down, we slow down, right? Okay, so you may have noticed there is a huge pattern we're seeing right here. Okay, 1 year, it'll just zoom down the timelines like super fast. Christmas will be here before you know it. Then the year after that, the timeline will go so slow, it will just drift, right? How do we make the time speed up? How are we making time speed up? Well, when you're active, you're making the time speed up. You're losing track of time. Okay, while the days are going slow, you're speeding time up by losing track of time. Why? Because you're constantly occupied with whatever it is you're doing. Whether it's your job, whether it's television, whether it's family, whether it's traveling, whether it's going out shopping, sightseeing. It could be anything, all right? That's making you feel like time is speeding up, all right? So now I got that covered. Thank God. So there we go. I just said another example of time. But like I said at the start of this video, religion does meet science somewhere down the line, all right? Religion does fit in with science like a puzzle. Everybody knows this. Scientists have been saying it for years now that somewhere down the line, religion is the missing link to science. It is the puzzle. It fits together like one big puzzle, all right? And once this puzzle is complete, we'll have the answer to space and time travel, okay? How the Big Bang's created, how we get here, to everything, okay? But to get the information, we got to keep putting these pieces of the puzzle together. And this is going to take years. We probably won't get the answer until the few generations after us. They probably get the answers, whereas we are left to die not knowing. But the newer generations after us will fully understand better and they'll have the info, whereas we won't. All right? So, moving down further the timeline, what's going to happen to Earth? What's going to happen to our planet? Scientists are predicting another solar flare, which is true. There will be a solar flare happening. quite soon. But when? Do we know when? No. Why? Because it's unpredictable. The sun will set off a spark regardless of when it's predicted. The sun ain't going to wait. It does not wait for nobody. If it's going to send off a signal, it damn well will, okay? It'll send off the flare, all right? It'll just do it without warning, all right? The sun just does not wait for anybody. So every day you need to be prepared for the worst outcome scenario of your life, whether it's a solar flare, a tsunami, a hurricane, a tidal wave, a king wave, a hailstorm, okay, bushfire, all right? I mean, it could be a simple disaster like a car accident or an accident from a crash from a plane, or okay, it can be any disaster, all right? You still need to be prepared. You need to be prepared for the worst outcome. Especially when you're traveling around the world, you still need to prepare yourself for the worst case scenario. All right? It's not, okay, sure, your destination's gonna be like paradise to you, right? But let's just say that paradise will then turn into a natural disaster or some kind of disaster without you realizing. Okay? But you're prepared. Why? Because you've packed all the essentials that you need for your trip. Okay? It's called survival. It's called your instinct. Okay? Go watch the news. Okay? Read the newspaper. Google search the country you're going to or state you're going to. Check the weather conditions, all right? Check everywhere, all right? Just check every damn website for warnings, all right? You can even go to your local fire station and see if there's warnings, okay? They'll tell you. If there's a bushfire, they'll tell you straight up, okay? No, there's a warning. You cannot go into that area, all right? Always be prepared for the worst outcome. Now, having said that, when traveling, just remember you're not going to be in the same time zone as any other country, all right? You're going to be in a different time zone to what you're used to. Okay, so there's that travel back in time, all right? There we go. We've traveled back in time. Okay, same year, same month, same day. However, the date is different. So you've basically relived the same day that you lived yesterday. So, if I went to, for example, because today's the 14th, right? Here in Australia, yesterday was the 13th. Today is the 14th, which makes America the 13th. So, if I do go to America, for example, I'm going to be reliving yesterday. I'll be reliving yesterday's date. So I've traveled back in time by one day. So I'm pretty much reliving yesterday. And then when I come back to my own country, I'm going to go forward in time. So I've come back to a different time zone. I've come back to the time zone that I'm used to. So I've all have gone straight to the very next day. So I've gone from, just say, the 20th, right? For example, I will have then moved forward into the 21st. All right? That's just an example. All right, so there we go. There's your time travel. Now, this is where it gets tricky again, okay? Space and time when put together. Okay, so when astronauts go up into space, they lose a few days, right? Sorry. So by the time they're in space, it'll probably be like 2 days later. Or depending on how long they're up there, it'd be a week that they've been up there. However, back on Earth, because time's slower, you'd still be, not even a week yet, okay? But when the astronaut comes back to Earth, they will have gone a few days back. So now we're just halfway in the center of the week. Almost, right? The astronaut has returned. All right. So the astronaut might be confused of the date. All right. So then we just gotta remind the astronaut, oh yeah, today's the 5th. But the astronaut says, no, I thought it was later than that. I thought it was like the 10th. Or the 12th or something like that. All right? But the person on the Earth goes, time moves faster in space than on Earth. Okay, so there we go. Another example of space and time. Time travels faster in space, whereas on Earth it is slow. The only reason why we make time go fast on Earth is because we are preoccupied with our daily routines. Whether it's getting up, getting dressed, having a shower, having your coffee, getting ready for work, watching TV, okay, picking your kids up from school, doing the grocery shopping, getting the kids some new clothes because, their clothes are all ripped. You can't be bothered fixing them. All right? So, of course, time is going to go fast on Earth because you're preoccupied with doing other things to make it seem like time has gone fast. Whew. Well, that's going to end this video on time and space. So, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Smash the like button, subscribe, notifications but optional, comments and questions left down below. Please, I beg of you to be respectful, polite, mindful, all right? Don't bag anybody out, all right? They're entitled to their own opinion, okay? So please just let them be, okay? Let them have a say, all right? Let them have a say because, they're human, all right? So just be respectful, be mindful, all right? So, and I'll see you guys in my next space video. Bye.